in the little red car. I'm off for a little drive with her. I'm going to visit my friends at Ford, and she's going to spend a few days with them, and they're going to do a bit of a magic with the paintwork. While I'm at Ford, I'm going to pick another car up. So as you can see, it's a little Mark II Fiesta. Now, I have said previously that you don't get many Mark IIs and Mark I Fiestas in Sweden, and you don't. This is the second Mark II Fiesta I've really ever seen in northern Sweden, and it actually is owned by Magnus from Ford. So I took my Mark IV there, and I come back in a Mark II. So we're going to take it back to the garage, and we've got a bit of work to do on it, and I'm going to try and film it for you so you can hear it. But basically, it's got an enormous knocking noise, and I say enormous because it's a bit scary. Every time I let the accelerator up or I press the clutch, it knocks like mad on the right front corner. Now, I believe that it does sound like the tie bar bushes, and it feels like they're pretty knackered, I would imagine. I've not had a look at it yet, but I would imagine that tie bar's floating around in there because it makes a right racket. So we're going to get it back to the workshop. We're going to get it up in the air. He's already bought some bushes for it because you can't buy them in Sweden. So he's ordered a set of bushes for it from, I think he's bought it from Outlook Motorsports in the UK. So I've got the kit with me here, and if that's what the course is, then we're going to fit that. So I'll see you in a couple of seconds back in the workshop. So this is Magnus's Mark II. Not very often I see a Mark II, as I said earlier, in Sweden. This is probably the second, maybe third one I've seen. So at the moment, it's not MOT, this car. It's one of the things he wants to get done on it. He did tell me about it, and I think it was left to him by somebody. And it's, to be honest, it's not in bad condition. It does have some slight defects, but most of them are the paint. It looks a bit bad, to be honest. I don't really know what's happened to the paint. It looks like all the clear coats fell off. But saying that, the arches on this are amazing. It's got a little tiny bit there, but I mean, it's not a new car, and that's not bad actually. All the doors look nice and straight, all the panels are nice and straight. There's a couple of dents, but you know, it's not a new car. It's obviously been well loved at some point because it's got a nice dent there. I would imagine that the boot locker's frozen or got stuck or something because that's been damaged. The other wheel arch on this side is pretty immaculate actually. There is absolutely no rust on that whatsoever, which is what I would expect on this age of car. It's not even rusty in the boot, which again I would have expected. So apart from the lack of peel pretty much on every single panel, the car itself is in pretty good condition. So the interior is pretty much, I love the little touches like these little things on the headrest. They're really cute. I like that. But yeah, interior is really nice. The interior with the gauges makes my Fiesta look kind of sparse. This one has got loads of gauges on it compared to mine. Even these parts that you normally see are damaged and destroyed and broken, they're not. They're in still good condition. But I have to say, my favourite part of this car is under here. This engine bay looks completely standard. You can see where the old sealer was and things like that, because they never really did paint them very well. So the paint's come off the sealer, but the engine bay is completely standard, and I really, really like that of this car. The arches are not rusted out on the inner arches. This one's not rusted out either. So it's a really, really nice, complete, genuine engine bay. I really do like this engine bay. When I opened it earlier when I came in, this is what really, really excited me, was this engine bay. Now obviously if it was me having it, I'd have to get that powder coated, rocker cover powder coated, little small things like that would definitely have to get powder coated, but I love the fact that this is completely original. Again, front wheel arches, there's no rust on them, and you'd almost expect them to be rust with them having the standard Swedish liners on them. So let's get this up in the air and find out what that horrible knocking noise was. Right, so looking underneath here, again, pretty much the same as it was with Alice. It's pretty much rust free under here. You get this like surface rust here. It's probably got the slightest bit of rust there that you could probably do anything with. Nice anti-roll bar with it being the 1.4. Like I say, surface rust on most things, but nothing more than that. I don't think I've ever seen Mark II Fiestas with the heat shield on. I could be wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen it. I don't remember it anyway. And it's definitely got a heat shield here as well. I don't remember that, but I could be wrong. I don't know. So everything underneath here looks nice and clean. Chassis rails are looking all right. May have a slight bit of rust coming on here. Nothing major. This side, completely fine. I can't really see too much because it's stood on the lift there. It's obviously the 1.4 CVH cat, so it's got a cat there as well. Gearbox, looks like it's lost some oil at some point, but that's nothing new on that either. Again, surfaced rust, but nothing major. So we'll have to see if we can find something that's making noise, and it was somewhere definitely in this area. So I'm looking at bushes. Oh, I found it. Oh my god. Oh god. Look at that. It's got no bush in there whatsoever. That is completely disintegrated. Look at the wheel. Well, that's definitely not going to pass the MOT like that. So he was definitely right with the problem. It was that control bar bush. This one actually is fine, but I know he's bought the pair thinking it was that was the problem, and that's definitely the problem. So it looks like we need a set of track control bar bushes, and I've got a set of them ready. So this shouldn't be too much of a job. Oh god, I've just jinxed it. Forget I said that. Please forget I said that. So the only thing I am worried about is it being, with it being that loose in that hole, is that hole going to be oval and horrible and is still going to wobble around even though we put new bushes in there? If I do, then I'm going to have to weld into there to make the bush fit properly. Hopefully not, but we'll soon find out.
So this is exactly as it came off the car. I've not even looked at it myself yet, but that's completely non-existent. All that stuff there. The washer on the back is all right. Now, like I say, it's that hole there. It doesn't look too bad. I mean, it is slightly oval in there, but we'll see what happens when we get the new bushes out, how they fit in that hole. If it is going to be too big, then I'm going to need to weld here and drill out that hole, but I hope it's going to be alright. But it's completely missing the rear bush, and the front bush is, well, it's knackered. Right, so upon opening the bag, I found these bushes in it. These definitely don't look like those. These ones are the rear track control arm bushes, and these ones are steering rack bushes for a Mark 1 Fiesta. So neither of these are going to fit, because that's for Mark 1. These are the rear track control arm, and he needs the front tie bar bushes, so these aren't going to fit. Now, they will fit my car, both of these, but they won't fit his. So I'm going to take these to my car, but now we need to sort out his car. Now, I have got a plan as to how to fix that. It's definitely not something I'm going to guarantee, but it will definitely get this car through its MOT while we wait for the parts. Now, the parts are coming from England, so to get all the way up to here in the north of Sweden will probably take about 2 weeks. So I don't want him to be without his car for 2 weeks, so I'll make this fix and then hopefully we'll get the problem solved. I've kind of solved the problem for now anyway. As you'll see, that's now nice and solid. I am not going to recommend that repair, but I will show you how I've solved it for now. So these are the original bushes that came out of the car. Obviously they are very, very flat and compressed, but they should be like that, but obviously a bit thicker and made out of polyurethane. So basically it's a disc of rubber. Well, I've made some discs of rubber. And what I've done, like I say, I do not recommend this in any way, but it does get the car up and running, and it will go through the MOT, but that rubber will not last for long. This is some 6mm rubber that we had lying around in the workshop, and I've screwed it down to a piece of wood so that it doesn't move around. Then I took a hole saw that's 54mm, and I drilled out the 4 holes. So I've got 4 washers. Looking at the other side, they look to be about 10mm thick. This rubber is about 6mm thick, so I cut 4 out, so there's 2 front, 2 rears, and then a step drill was big enough to make the holes in the middle. So I was able to clamp it into the drill and run the step drill through the middle of the bush. Now, one thing I've been looking at while I've had this car in the workshop is having a look around it, and it's quite a nice little car. I quite enjoy it. The one thing I have noticed though is things like this. The boot lock is totally destroyed. You can't open the boot. Now, I did look in the boot and I can see there's a wire there, so I imagine that's what he uses to open the boot, is to pull a wire, but it's all coiled up there, so how does he reach it? And that's when I realised it doesn't. It's disconnected completely here. It's not bolted in, and it does have a wire here to pull on that to release that. Now, I don't think that's a very good idea, so let's fit one of them. So we're going to fit that to the lock and put a little switch, and then we'll put a little switch down by the front there somewhere, so we can press a little button and it'll open the boot remotely from the front of the car there, and he doesn't have to worry about a bit of wire or not having it bolted down at all, because I don't think this is going to pass the MOT anyway. So we're going to fit one of them, a relay and a little push button switch, and that should make the car a lot easier to use. There's the bar here that goes to the lock, and basically I've connected it straight into the motor there, and one little screw there to the motor, and that holds the little motor in place there. Now we're just going to give it a bit of a function test here. So I've took the I've took this probe here and I can put an earth to it. So the other end of this probe is attached to the battery. At the handle end of this, there's a wire coming out. That is a negative wire. So when I put that on the end of there, what we get is a green light, which tells me it's negative at the moment. And now I can either add a positive feed or a negative feed to the end of that terminal. Now what we want to do is add a positive terminal and see if this works. If it works, when I press the button, that will go red, which means we've got a plus there, and it should unlock that motor. Well, that works. So I need to now wire in a relay to this and a switch to the front there. So inside the car, I've took the wires along the front here, then they go behind the carpet back there, and then they come up here, and the power is taken from the cigarette lighter, and the other wires that come to the switch are here. So the switch I fitted just there. I would have liked a smaller switch, but I couldn't find one. But let's see if it works then, shall we? Well, I'd say that's a success. Right, so we've done as much as we can on this. Waiting for the bushes to arrive from England. Hopefully they won't take too long. As soon as they get here, I'll get this back again. We'll fit the bush kit for it, and I'll be able to film that. Oh, and one other thing. This moulding wasn't fitted when it came in. It was here, it was just lying in the boot, but, you know, can't let it go out like that, can I, with it missing? So it's got a nice door moulding on that side now. Right, so we're on our way back to Bielefeld. We're going to drop off his beautiful little Mark II Fiesta. I can say now that it definitely makes a massive difference to the front end with the bushes that I've done. It's not perfect, but it will get it through its MOT, and it's a lot better than what it was. So while I'm there, I'm going to pick up the little red Fiesta. Now he's had that for about a week, I think, and he's been working some magic on that paintwork. So I am so looking forward to seeing the result of this car. As soon as that's done, that means that the car is, for my part, ready for its new owner. So there she is in all her glory, and I think she looks absolutely amazing. So all I need to do now is get a buyer for her, and I'm going to call that job done. So if you like what you've seen in this series or this episode, don't forget to press that like and subscribe button down below. You've also got me on social media, my Instagram and my Facebook, so don't forget to join me there. And for more updates on the trip to England, make sure you press that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks a lot, and bye-bye.